Oh yeah, what's the new friend's name?
Yeah, hi. Of course, I named him Vader.
Well, I'm scared of cats, so as long as Spader's there, I'm fine. As long as you know.
Yeah, I used to not be a cat person because I thought I was allergic to cats. And then about 4 weeks ago, I went to the doctor and I had to have like a whole panel of tests run and everything. I was just staying sick. And come to find out, I'm not allergic to cats. I'm allergic to 154 different things, and one of them being my own dog.
Yeah, dogs will do it.
Yeah, so I was like, oh hey, I can get a kitten now. So I got the kitten, and then well, I mainly got the kitten because my dog is here, while I work every day for 10 and a half hours. So she needed a friend, and they're already like best friends.
That's weird though. A dog and a cat getting along. Usually hear them.
Oh yeah, like my dog is the most chill dog you'll ever meet because she's a service dog, and so she doesn't care about anything, like at all. She's lived with cats, dogs, whatever. Like this cat will literally like get up on her back while she's sleeping and just take a nap on her back. She doesn't care. I'm
Well,
gonna let me turn this light on real quick. I'm gonna get some more light in here. Watch out. All right, that's a little bit better.
you able to finish your lunch and all that enough time?
Yeah, I was able to eat it after. So I placed the original order at like 12:05, and the girl, I used Postmates, and the girl showed up to pick it up, and the business told her that they couldn't make it because of my food allergy. It was like illegal. I'm like, I've been sitting here for 45 minutes waiting on this food, and you're now there to get it to bring it to me, and now you tell me that I can't have it. So now I'm like, ugh. I was like, I'm getting hangry because with this whole new the testing and everything that I had done, I found out that I'm intolerant and allergic to wheat flour, corn flour, um, soybean oil, and I have a minor reaction to peanuts, but it's not as bad as the other ones. But I'm like anaphylactically allergic to almonds, which we already knew that. But turns out I'm allergic to 22 different types of grass, 18 different types of trees, dust mites, cockroaches. I mean, literally, like I said, enough to be 154 things. It's absurd. So the way I have to order food now and everything, if I can't see the oil they cook stuff in, I have to call the restaurant before. I have to read the back of every package, and it is insane. I am constantly hangry because I can't eat anything that I used to eat at all. It's basically just meat, fruits, and vegetables.
Well, that's kind of the three main food groups you need, anyways, right?
Yeah, but no cookies, no cakes, no cupcakes, no anything fried from a restaurant if it's cooked in peanut oil or soybean oil. No breading on the stuff that's fried, even if they use like canola or vegetable oil because it's flour. Um, like everything has to be gluten free, and it is so stupid and so frustrating, and it is very expensive, by the way. So
Very expensive.
yeah, I don't advocate for not being able to have gluten.
No, I started this diet about 8 weeks ago, and I'm just eating nothing but gluten free stuff. And these right here, these are buttermilk ranch rice rice cake chips, what they're called. They're actually fairly delicious. So, and they're gluten free, wheat free, all that stuff that you said. So I would check those out if you're got like the munchies or something.
Yeah, because it sucks, man. Like I can't have like if we get Mexican or something, I can't have chips and salsa anymore because I can't have the chips. Because I can't have wraps anymore because they're either corn or flour, and I literally can't have either. So I'm like, this sucks so bad.
Well, and you can't have the wheat tortillas either because you're allergic
Yeah,
to the
no,
wheat.
I can't have anything. I'm just every time I go there, I just get like a fajita and don't eat the shells. It's basically what I've been resorted to.
Yeah, well, as long as it's going to keep you healthy and not sick, I wouldn't worry about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too is I had to go back to Alabama last weekend, and my boyfriend went with me because I had to do a live stream interview down there at a recording studio. So we went down there and we stopped and got Wendy's on the way down there. Of course, I got like a sandwich, but didn't get the bun. But then I didn't know that Wendy's used soybean oil, and so I ate like my side of fries. But 30 minutes later, I had to stop and pull over because I was like, I got sick and I had to stop and pull over. And that's a lot of people don't understand. I mean, it's once you take something out like that you've been eating
Yeah.
every day for 29 years and your body's
Yeah.
used to it at that point, but it's intolerant, so you don't know. But once you take it out for, like I said, I'm at almost 4 weeks now, and you put it back in, your body will completely reject it and let you know this ain't gonna fly. So it just goes to show you that like some of the stuff that places use to cook stuff in or whatever it might be is just that bad for you.
I don't guess I realized you were from Alabama. Maybe we talked about, maybe I forgot. But I was realizing when you were talking about the stuff you couldn't have, you said oil instead of oil. And I
Oh,
realized, oh, she's very Southern because
oh,
we also say, you're going to heat some of that oil up and you're going to throw the stuff in
oh,
it.
cast iron skillet out. We're gonna need to put some
Right.
Crisco in there so it'll oil it up a little bit. Yeah.
Man, cast iron skillets, I do not touch them things anymore. I was washing one in the sink. I know you're not supposed to wash a cast iron skillet, but I was washing it. Just listen to it. I was washing it, and I was putting it. How we do it is once we wash it, we don't scrub it. We'll wash it with soap and a sponge, and then we'll rinse it out. Put it on the stove top on like high and let it dry out that way, and stick it back in the oven. Well, I was going from the sink to the stove, and it dropped flat on my foot. It like broke. I think it broke my foot in like 3 or 4 different spots. This was like late last year Christmas, and I still have this big fold on top of my foot just from the
Yeah.
impact it hit.
Don't play, man. I mean, that's why they're like the greatest home defense system besides, guns. You got a cast iron skillet in your house and somebody breaks up in there, done.
Well, I guess we need to get down to the business here. So usually these are done with me and Big Shrimp, but Big Shrimp is not able to be here due to technical difficulties. So I'm going to be handling this myself. This is Give Women a Chance number 3. Panelist here is Jess Paige. And real quick, before we jump into it, I'm going to tell you why we kind of started this for those that don't know. Me and Big Shrimp are, I say, big advocates for females in a air quote low platform type of podcast. And we realized that not only in music, but in all the entertainment bases and even in the world, there's a shortage of why aren't women doing this? Why aren't women held to the praise that they're at? And we started this basically to do just that, get women panelists on here and they can throw sides. And this show here is not for the faint of heart. It is, if you wear your feelings on your sleeve, you might want to turn us off because it's going to get downright dirty for the next hour or so as we talk about kind of what really happened. So, how is it for you as a female in the music industry to see how females are being treated? And you have your notes all taken there?
Oh, yeah. I like to write down that I talk about so that I don't go back and repeat myself and just keep reiterating the same thing.
Okay.
So, on that note, I mean, that's a good question. That's a question that has become, it arose probably about a year ago, I would say. It became an actual like issue, and you have your two sides. Obviously you have your side that doesn't think anything's different or that women aren't being not mistreated but just kind of pushed back on the back burner, not given as much airtime, not given as as many like headlining or anything, like more spots are being given to like the younger guys and stuff like that. And I can't speak for those females that obviously, were in like big name record companies and have deals with them and everything, because obviously that record company works, for them, they go above and beyond to make sure that, all of this is highly done and produced, and they have the greatest songs and the next number one and all that. So from that aspect, I can't really speak on that, but from my side, being an independent artist, it is 100 times harder. And sometimes it's very frustrating because it gets to a point to where sometimes you're just not taken seriously as a female artist, just because and I mean, it has a lot to do with obviously the way you look and you sound. Because I've even had, I had a guy and a female actually one day message me separate times, but it was just two different people. And, one of them said, "Oh, you're going to do really good in country music. You've got the face for it." That's insulting. That, I don't know if you're a compliment, but you went about that completely the wrong way, and that's insulting. What does having a face have to do with the way that I sound? Have you even heard me? Have you even taken the time to listen to my music? Do you know anything about me except the way that I look? And so that right there is just, it's just insulting, because they think that as long as you're pretty, then you're going to go far. And that's not the case at all. And a lot of these females in country music now, they do have, amazing songs, and not that they're not getting played. Like Gabby Barrett, I love that song. And it became her first official number one. And it's times like that where it makes me so happy and thrilled, because that song is such a great song. It's lyrically written so fantastically. And I'm glad that she got the time and the listeners and the fans and all of that from that, because she was given that chance and she proved herself and showed, hey, I have a great voice, but I also have, great writing skills and all this, even if she didn't write it, which I think she did. But that song, every time you get in the car, that song is on. And it's because it's a great song and it catches your ear, and it's just one of those that just keeps climbing. And as a female artist, especially her being young, that's awesome. And so that's to the level that I aspire to achieve to. Obviously it comes down to opportunities and meeting people and, mixing and mingling, and obviously just keep pushing yourself and staying motivated, because sometimes it can get really frustrating, and you do question yourself when it gets to that point. You're like, why do I even bother? This is the seventh time that someone has pretended to show interest or, wanted to be involved in my music. And then because I won't go out with them, or I won't go to dinner with them, or I won't send them pictures, then all of a sudden, I didn't sound that good to begin with, or I'm a bit, or, all this. I'm just this gets super frustrating. Because that's not, no female in general should ever be treated that way. But especially female country artists. Because I doubt very seriously there's women messaging, up and coming male singers saying, "Oh, I'd love to invest in your music and help you get your next single out. Can you send me a breakdown of the pricing plan and all that?" And I've done that. I've done everything they've asked. Kept it very, cordial, very business. Because this is a business, and you're going into a business deal, and so that's what it's about. And I don't feel like there's females out there messaging up and coming male singers and being like, "Hey, I'd love to invest in you, but we got to go to dinner. Or, let's meet, for let's go for something to drink or something like that." I'm like, and when they do say stuff like that, I'm like, oh, "Okay, cool." I was like, "Well, is it okay if my boyfriend comes along too?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I'll have to see. I have to check my schedule. Let me." Then all of a sudden it's you don't hear from them anymore. Then they start insulting you and all this. And I'm just like, no one should have to deal with that. No one should be treated that way. That's not fair. That's just not okay. You just shouldn't do that. You shouldn't treat people like that. And so being an independent artist, it you get these people that are interested, and you think they're genuinely interested in you and your music, and then you just get let down time and time again. So it gets frustrating, and you feel like you've hit this wall, and there's nothing more that you can do. And again, it's do I really want to do what is it that I really want to do? Is this really what I want to do? Do I want to keep pushing for this? Do I want to keep doing this? Is this worth my time? Or should I just take a different path and, get an 8-to-5 job or do something like that? Well, not right now, but it just, So that, I mean, that's just how I feel I've experienced. I speak from firsthand because, like I said, I have experienced those things and had those people interact with me, and those are just not the type of people that I want to be associated with because it's just such a negative like vibe and personality, and clearly they're just using people, and I don't want my name attached to that or those people at all. So I just cut my losses and I keep working and I pay for everything on my own and I just keep working hard.
Yeah, I heard someone once say the women should that they were trying to defend it, but they were using it in such a weird way that it didn't make any sense. And they were saying, I believe the women should make all this and they should be bigger than the men because it's mostly men that are listening to country radio and they're looking for these women that are how hot they are. And I'm sitting there thinking, 95% of the women that play on the radio, you don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just this thing. It's like, well, you're defending it. I appreciate you defending it, but you're defending it in kind of a sexist, risque kind of a way.
Yeah,
I don't understand where you're coming from.
But you're going about it the wrong way. I mean, that's the literal form of when you look at somebody and you go, no offense, but I mean,
right.
That's you're offending them and you know you are, but you're trying to cover your ass by saying no offense, but I'm about to be rude.
I don't trust anybody that says no offense because obviously they mean it in an offensive way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, if you know that you're going to offend someone or that you're going to be rude because you just addressed it, like you just said it. So, well, so just don't say it.
Yeah. Now, you don't want to get too personal. You don't have to, but sometimes these things do take that turn. Have you ever had any experience of what type we're talking about? Like, we were like, okay, we're going to come in here. We're going to have you have a contract signing because I know one person that was just like, wow, are you serious? They were great and they were going to sign a contract signing. And then I was like, hey, what happened? And they said, no, they wanted me to perform oral sex in order for me to sign it. So I declined it. And I'm just like, whoa, now, hang on a second. And I'm like, this is how the industry works? No, I don't think so.
I'm going to go ahead. I wish somebody would. On all thousands of the stars in the sky, because they don't know me. I'm from Alabama. I will.
Right.
No way I'm going to be disrespected like that. That's my one thing. I do not allow people to disrespect me. And not only me as a human, but also as a female. Just because I'm a female doesn't mean that things like that are okay and accepted. This isn't 1783 anymore. Like I can drive a car and vote. So like that type of.
For God's sake, it's not 1983 anymore.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm going to be real about it.
That mentality is what pushes a lot of females away from going after this dream, is because it's just like a revolving door of nonsense and just harassment and just downgrading. I mean, it's I wish somebody would.
Southern's coming out.
Like because I broke out that cast iron skillet right then and there.
I wasn't being rude. I was on my phone. I was looking something up because I wanted to see, as of right now, we're recording this September 5th. It's a Saturday, and I'm looking at the country airplay chart right now, and I'm counting how many people I see in the top 30. I see Maddie and Tay, and I see, do you count Lady A as a girl group, though? Even though the lead singer is Hillary Scott. You don't count that? Then I only see Maddie and Tay, Ashley McBride. I only see two. I don't even see Carrie Underwood on here. That's all I see right now.
Ashley McBride is literally like my favorite new female country singer. She is a phenomenal performer and she is an amazing writer. Like she has a gift, and that woman is awesome. She just has such a good attitude.
It's like she came out of nowhere.
Eric Church found her.
Really? Okay, I don't know her story much. But it was like we have a guy. I don't know if you know in Alabama. There's a guy that comes all the time. His name's like Frank Foster, and he's one of those big. He's one of the big independent people that are like made millions on his own. And it's kind of like what Ashley McBride was doing. And so she just busted through the airplay charts and was like, "Here I am, surprise."
Eric Church found her and was like, "Come here." And that's where you get Ashley McBride from. And thank God for Eric Church for doing that for us, because she is phenomenal.
Yeah. And another thing about this women in just general is I can probably name on 15, I'm going to say 15 fingers, just my realization, 15 fingers, just female artists in general that have either made it big, but I can't count on any amount of fingers about how many the males have came through and just busted through. You know what I mean? And I don't understand. People have dumbed it down for me, but I still don't understand why this is such a male-driven genre. For me, a male-driven genre would be hip-hop. You don't hear much of, except for Cardi B and stuff like that. You don't hear, that would be a male-driven.
Don't even get me started on that nonsense. I don't listen to hip-hop or rap. It's just not my forte. Nothing wrong. I'm not saying, nothing wrong with it. I just don't like it. I never have. I like rock and metal and country and like classic music. But that song, man, that is the most disrespectful, nastiest, just downgrading and degrading song.
What song?
I've ever heard.
What song are you talking about?
That new song that's out, WAP.
I haven't heard it.
Oh my God.
I haven't heard it yet.
Oh my God.
Don't listen to it?
No, because WAP stands for something. It's an acronym.
Okay.
And they put this song out, and I can't remember, my boyfriend told me about it. Put this song out, and we're using it as like a women's empowerment song. I'm like, are you high? What this song?
I'm reading the lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can play that over the air.
No, you can't. Please don't. For everyone's sanity, please do not play that garbage song. Like, There's no way that song is about anything that is directed towards female empowerment. So
if this is going to empower women, I don't know what's going to dispower these people. You know what I mean? If this is considered powering people, what's going to dispower them? Take them down a peg.
That song dispowers me. Like, that song is extremely disrespectful to me. It's disgusting. Right. It's rude. And they think it's supposed to lift women up and make them feel like queens and all that. No, you're literally talking about yourself and your body in a derogatory manner. There's nothing about that says, hi, I'm a grown-ass woman. I don't need anyone to take care of me. I have my own things, my own house, my own car. I pay my own bills. Like, everything. Like, I don't need anyone to support me. That is empowering. That song is literally the complete and total opposite of that song. Like, you are... I don't even understand the thought process behind that song. But then again, look at who sings it.
I don't know much about Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B is who it said it was. There may be more people on it, but that's what I was just looking at. I don't listen to them, so I wouldn't know, but I know just from the lyrics that I just read, you see me read them, that it was like, this is far from empowering anyone. Yeah.
Like, how do you expect, if you're a grown-ass woman and how do you expect men to take you seriously when you're putting out stuff that is degrading your own self? How do you expect someone to take you seriously when you're describing your body in that manner, using those words? That's not respectful. That's not admirable. That's not role model material. I don't want my niece running around saying that, because I'd have to slap her upside the wall.
Yeah.
Nothing about that song is positive. Like, all these women, especially younger women, and it's so tragic to see. Like, thank God I grew up in an era like with dial-up internet and before Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram, and thank God for that. Because I just see all these like 20 and 21-year-old girls, just going on there every day and posting pictures and thongs and like partying and drinking like every day, getting drunk and listening to this song, like thinking this song is so amazing, like, oh my God, this is my song. Why is this your song? Out of all of the songs in the universe, this is your song. This is the song that you want to represent you as a female. And then they turn around and complain that they can't find a guy that takes them seriously or that will treat them right or all this. Well, why would they want to? Every trash can has a lid. I mean, if you're putting this for the entire world to see, and you're projecting yourself as this image and you're associating yourself and saying, oh my God, this is my song and all this. No one is going to respect you because you clearly don't respect yourself.
Right, and I think that's what it comes down to is respect. And I also think, because I don't know if Cardi B or whoever the Megan Stallion chick, I don't know if they're big in that genre. But what I'm saying is, I wonder if they were looking at how the music is progressing and they're saying, hey, we're gonna come out with this song here, and it's supposed to empower people. And then they think it does, but here's what I think it does. No offense, there's one thing if you're saying it public or privately, and there's another thing if you're trying to bring it to airwaves and saying it and trying to empower the 3-year-old niece that you got sitting on your couch. All of a sudden that song pops up on TikTok or YouTube, and now they're going around saying that. You know, people don't play nowadays. That's how a lot of people can get their kids taken away.
That's what I'm
saying. Let's be honest.
You let your 3 or 4-year-old roll up into preschool or kindergarten and start singing that song words, and CPS is going to be at the front door before school even lets out.
Yeah. I don't mean...
I'm probably one of the very few Americans that refuses to download or associate myself with TikTok because it is literally, I'm going to pull a water boy right now. TikTok is the devil. Like, that thing is nothing but bad news. I mean... Kids are on there, like, shaking their ass in their underwear and stuff. And, I mean, with everything going on right now in this country with, like, child trafficking and all of that, that is the last thing we need. We don't need another outlet for people to be able to come on here and see random small children dancing to these songs and these dances in a suggestive manner. Like, yeah, they might just like the song and they might not understand the words. But that child doesn't need to be hearing those words at such an early age. They don't need to be dancing in such a manner that is going to draw attention like that. That's just, I mean, that's not normal. That's not okay. That's not acceptable behavior as a parent to allow your child to access these videos and these songs and have that in atmosphere in your child's life. Because, I mean, like I said, I've got 2 degrees in psychology, and, I studied childhood development and adolescence, and certain kids, when they're at a certain age, their cognitive development is a lot higher, and they're learning to process things, and, I mean, you understand, like, that's exactly why if you ever say a cuss word in front of, like, a kid that's, like, 3 to 7, you say a cuss word, and you're like, oh, don't say that, that's a bad word. Well, what are they going to do? Keep saying it. They're going to keep saying it. But you do that in front of like an 11 or a 12-year-old, and they're just like, oh, I know that's a bad word. I don't need to say it. And so when you put this type of music and this type of environment in these kids that are at such a young age, I mean, hell, my niece is 8 now, but when she was 4, she learned how to use an iPhone. Like, she could swipe it, unlock it, and do all that. And all she does now is sit on her iPad. And it's just, it blows my mind how parents can just take a back seat and allow this to happen and allow their kids to be subjected to this, because none of that is a positive role model for young girls. None of it at all. I mean, there's just no exception. There's no excuse. None of that. And I mean, that might piss a few people off, but you know what? I don't like paying taxes, but I do it anyway, so get over it.
We also gave a fair warning that it's going to make people mad. I mean, this what we're doing. But me and you, we're fairly around the same age. And can you imagine, just picture in your head what teenagers were like back when we were teenagers, and what teenagers are like now? Like,
oh my
teenager
God.
They were playing with those little silly bands and a slap wrist, and they were
Yeah.
wearing watches and wondering what clothes am I going to wear tomorrow. And now they're thinking, I have to dress, and God forgive me for saying this, but they're like, I have to dress more sluttier today because the girl right there got that boy that I seen behind me that I like.
Well,
Now I have to dress just like her.
and like, oh my God, maybe I should wear booty shorts in my next picture because my friend wore her bathing suit and got 150 likes and I only got 100. Like all this, like, you're a child. You're supposed to be a child. Be a
Yeah.
child. You don't like. There is no, and I understand that because like you can't be around your children and see what they're doing 24/7. It's impossible. I mean, I take care of 2 children every day, and you can't do it. You can't be there every second, seeing what they're seeing, hearing what they're hearing, and be present for everything. But there is a way that you can limit the access to where you don't have to be there 24/7 every second. And I think sometimes parents just get so overwhelmed and tired and frustrated, and especially now with this online crap and virtual nonsense and schooling and all this nonsense. And I think sometimes they just let their kids just have their phone or their iPad and just let them do whatever because it keeps them quiet. But then that's where you get into these young girls that they're 10 years old and they're sitting here listening to this song and thinking, oh, this song's cool. Like, oh, all my friends listen to this song. And and then they go back and they start saying this to the teachers, or they start texting about it and like all this. I'm just like, what is happening? Because like I said, I mean, when I was a teenager, I mean, I had a pager when I was 15. Flip phones had just
Right.
come out. Like, there was no internet on the phone. You played Snake on your Nokia, and that was it, man. Like, that was
And
it.
you had to repeatedly press the numbers on the thing just to get one
Oh,
letter, and then
S9.
it would
Oh,
take you like 45 minutes to send a paragraph.
oh yeah, S9 text. If you wanted an S or if you wanted a W, you better hit that 9 button 4 times. Like, and then they came out with
Right.
predictive text, and I couldn't get that down to save my life. It took me like a year to understand how to use that.
But we have to look at the bigger picture and why these little girls or whoever we want to talk about are looking at this. It's because of social media. And I know there's not a social media podcast genre that we're going on here, but just imagine if social media was totally white. There was no YouTube. There was no. The only way to listen to music was on a compact disc or a record player. Do you know how more sane these little kids can be? And I mean, speaking on boys here, how more sane they would be. I mean,
Yeah,
because
everyone would
you
learn
know,
how to play outside again
yeah,
and have an imagination and actually be children and play together and ride bikes and stuff like that, instead of just sitting in the house all day on their PlayStation or the internet or their iPad or their iPhone or making stupid TikTok dances and all this. Like, they would actually be children again. But now all of this is available to them, and it's even more dangerous, like I said, with everything going on right now, that they have access to all this and people have access to them. And it's just not just speaking solely on behalf of like little girls and females, but also little boys. I mean, it's not just one sex that's being, bought and sold and trafficked and all that. It's both. It's little girls and it's little boys. Now, the majority of them are, females, but
right.
I mean, that's what we have to start looking towards the future for this generation coming up, this younger generation, because they do have all the access to all of this nonsense that people my age didn't have. And literally from my age back, no one had anything. Like, I remember the bag phone and all that. I remember when the car phone came out, and now it's just like a whole another world. And sometimes that world can be dangerous, and that's not the world. I don't feel like that's the world that we need to be letting little girls grow up in, because it's so subjective and it's just disrespectful, and that doesn't give them a good outlook for their future. It doesn't give them a good outlook for themselves, because there's constant judgment and criticism. And obviously you're going to have that all throughout your life no matter what you do, but social media just takes it to an all-time high because it makes it so much easier for strangers to come in and criticize and, just say all these like disrespectful things and stuff like that. And so, 10-year-old, 9, 10, 11-year-old girls are seeing all this and posting pictures, and all these older guys that are like teenagers, something, commenting on it, and they think it's cool and, oh, he's cute and all that. That is not what needs to be happening at all, because that is not going to push forth an up and coming generation of strong females that have morals and have, dignity and have self-respect and, know their worth and all this, because they've been subjected to this at such an early age that they don't know any different. And so that's what we have to start looking towards the future for is, making sure this doesn't happen and they're not subjected to all this, and letting, young girls know that it is okay to be a little girl and play with dolls or play outside or wear bows or whatever like that, because when you're 9 years old, you're 9 years old. You're not even a decade old. Like, be a child. It's okay. You don't have to be going out and wearing makeup or all of this nonsense. Like, be a kid, because you don't get that for very long. And I don't think enough people realize that. They're just so anxious in trying to move forward that they forget that once you move forward, you can't go back. And they don't cherish the time that they have. And especially, like I said, these little girls are going to grow up, and I mean, I don't even know.
And I'm not, when I say this, I'm not trying to judge anybody's parenting skills, but let's just say if a single mother, her only way, and I'm a big advocate for like adoption agencies and stuff like that. I think there's a better way, but I'm going to use this as a positive and a negative way. If a single mother is having to sweep around to get bills paid, what's that going to look like on the daughter? As if, if something goes bad, I could just give myself up in a way in order to make so much of money. It all comes back to the female heroes that they have in their life. The hero, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just this big carousel that's going all the way around.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is not judging anybody, because clearly if they're doing that, then obviously they're trying to support and feed and clothe and all that. So I mean, is that the right way in my mind to go about it? No. I mean, McDonald's is always hiring. So, but if that's what you are forced to do because you have unseen circumstances or whatever, I don't know. But it shows that they are trying to be a good mother. And if that's the way that they were going to do that, then if you're going to have that as your line of work, keep it to yourself. Don't bring the people to your home. Don't let your child or your little girl see revolving doors of random men coming in and out. If that's what you choose to do with your life, no judgment. Doesn't affect me. I don't care. But just make sure that what you're doing with your life doesn't affect the child's life in a negative manner, because when she sees that, she's going to think that's the norm, and that's what she's going to grow up with. And she's going to be like, well, I don't see anything wrong with it. It was never wrong when I was growing up, so why don't I just do it? I mean, there are ways to keep that absent, from the home and from the child and all of that, to where they, they don't know. And that would be the way to go about it, because, like I said, whoever does whatever, I don't know. But if they're clearly trying to do whatever means to feed and take care of their child, and, they're actually going that far to provide for their child, then clearly they love the child and they care, and they aren't, trying to intentionally destroy them. But some people just go about it the wrong way.
And I'm going to bring this full circle, because obviously but that woman would not have to sleep around or do whatever she's doing, sell drugs, whatever, to make ends meet, if only people would look not at, sure, some things do call for a degree or something, but if you would actually just look at this person and tell, she needs help, maybe someone can do it, giving them a chance. You know how many times I was given a chance? That's why I give people, independent artists, a chance, for that reason that I was given one. And women are not given that chance enough. And it's all comes to full circle. And it just irritates me and put me in such a bad mood at times, where it's just like you get so sick you can't do nothing, because you see it happen every day because of, again, social media.
Yep. I mean, I have a personal Facebook page, but I don't use it. Like, I don't post statuses. I don't put my personal life out there. Like, I have a Snapchat too. I don't post my every minute of every day. I don't live through Snapchat. Like, I don't let people know my private life. Not that I have something to hide, but the less that you put out there, the less people have to talk about. And I just like my privacy, especially in this line of work. And like I said, I have a personal Facebook page, but the only reason I still have a personal Facebook page is because it's connected to my official artist page. And if I get rid of my personal one, then that page is deleted because I'm the administrator on it. So I have it, but I don't post. I don't, do anything like that. I mean, literally, like, you can go back and everything on my Facebook is like maybe one post for me, and then like a month of people just tagging me and stuff or sharing stuff on my, like, I don't just put my personal life out there for that reason. And I do that because, like I said, I'm a private person, but also it protects me from anybody out there that might have, I don't even know what word I'm trying to use right now. Bad intentions, we'll say that. Because they don't know where I'm at every day, or they don't know what my schedule is every day, or who I'm with, or where I live, or anything like that. And so that limits the possibility and the people that have access to me, because I don't put that out there, because I don't want my location shared, or I don't want anybody knowing where I live or my daily routine, or I'm not checking in at my house and stuff like that. That's just, and a lot of people do that, and it irritates me. I'm like, some things you just should not share. Don't do that.
I made a mistake. I made a mistake on my personal one time. I put out what I thought about the president, and I shouldn't have done that. It screwed everything up. I was like, oh my God. It was just like you lose once people find out not really who the real you are, but when you let your personal stuff out there, you realize, oh, this person is not what they seem. You know what I mean?
Yep. And last weekend when I went to do this interview, there was a certain certain type of people in the room where I was at, and I mean, not that I cared or anything, but I could just tell just by the way they spoke and the way they presented themselves, like their standpoint. And as soon as we got in there, we weren't live or anything yet, and the guy that was interviewing me, he was kidding, but like what he said was like not kidding. And once he said it, I could tell where he stood versus where I stand. And my friend Josh, that was in the room with us, that owns the recording studio and all that, the guy interviewing me, works for them and stuff like that. And there was another guy in there, an audio tech guy, and we were sitting there, and the guy interviewing me, I think he's younger than me, but he looks at me, he goes, "So, Black Lives Matter or all lives matter?" And I just looked at him and I went,
God.
I am not even opening that can of worms right here, right now.
Okay, obviously, people that ask that, where they're at.
That's what I'm saying.
But without me saying, know where they're at.
Yeah, once he opened his mouth, I knew his standpoint. And I just looked at him, I was like, I ain't opening that can of worms right now, man. Not happening. Sorry. And Josh was like, "Lord, don't. That is not the place for that." And I was like, I ain't even gonna start hitting on that one. I was just like, ooh. I was like, really? You just said that to me?
I wish someone would come to me and say that to me. I wish.
I mean,
like you said, cast iron skillet to the head.
We're literally sitting on two stools. We're sitting a foot apart, and he says that, and I just went,
That was the guy that was interviewing you, right?
Number one rule in anything, especially in country music, you do not talk about politics. You keep your opinions to yourself.
Did we not just learn that with Chris Stapleton like 3 days ago?
Yeah, I read the original thing when it first came out. It came out like a week ago, and I read the original one. so all these people are getting on this bandwagon and about it. And like I said, I read the original one before Whiskey
Okay, well, I didn't read the original. I read the one that just came out.
Yeah, that's
3 or 4 days ago.
Riff and all that. The original interview said that the interviewer, how was it worded? How was this worded?
So let me tell you what I think to cover up this dead space.
What it was basically paraphrased was the interviewer goes, do you think that Black Lives Matter? That's what they asked. They didn't say, do you support Black Lives Matter?
First off, what a terrible interviewer. What a terrible question to ask.
I know. I was like, what the hell this has to do with anything related to country music? I don't understand, but okay, whatever, bye. But the interviewer asked him, do you think Black Lives Matter? His response was, yes, I do think that Black people's lives matter. He didn't say, I support the group Black Lives Matters. The interviewer also didn't ask him if he supported Black Lives Matters group. The interviewer asked, do you think that Black lives matter? He said, yes, of course, I think Black people's lives matter. So now everyone has gone in and twisted it, and now they're saying that Chris Stapleton supports Black Lives Matters and all that. I'm like, no, he didn't say he supports them. He didn't say anything like that. He said he thinks that Black people's lives matter, just like he thinks everyone else's lives matter. He was asked a question, and he answered it in the way that he was asked. So now everyone's going around turning it and spinning it and all this, and I'm just like, if y'all would have just read the original article that came out like a week ago, there wouldn't be any of this.
Well, also, not really reading the article, but if they would just lose their racist mindset, then they wouldn't care. You know what I mean? Like, who cares if he does? That's not gonna make me look at his music different.
Yeah, I mean, like, everyone has an opinion. That's your that's your right as an American. Now, just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean that you have to like burn down a building or beat them up or shoot them or anything like that. You can disagree with someone and still be friends, or just disagree.
Right.
And I don't think the world has learned that yet. I mean, it's okay to have your own opinion and disagree, but just because my opinion is different from yours doesn't make me wrong and doesn't make you right. And just because your opinion is different from mine doesn't make you right and me wrong, or me right and you wrong. It's an opinion.
Unless you can, and here's where I stand with that, is like, unless you can prove that your opinion is very accurate and way more accurate than mine, then I'm not going to give your opinion a thought if that's not my opinion. There's a lot of people that say, no, that's not what it says. Here's what it says. And then they don't give me any kind of book or whatever about it. Then I'm not going to believe that's what it said. Like, obviously it's been around, obviously the Chris Stapleton thing, you said it was original. So obviously people are going to, like the game of telephone, it's going to be twisted until it's not even what he said anymore.
By the end of next week, it's probably going to be like Chris Stapleton is a member of Black Lives Matter. Like, just because people just keep spinning it and putting their own rhetoric on it, and then it's just, oh, I heard that he was at the last meet. Like, shut up, just shut up. Like, people like that are the reason all this nonsense shit just keeps going and doesn't end. Just shut up.
Yeah. What do you think about people that say women in the music should be a 50-50 fight? 50-50 women, 50 women, 50 men on the radio. What do you think about that? Because I disagree with that, and I'll give you my stance once you give me yours.
I mean, I agree to that to an extent because it evens the odds. Now you have an even number on both sides. It's not, 70-30 or 80-20. But if you're just putting the women on there 50-50 to save face so that you don't have to address any issues, and you're just putting whatever and whoever on there, then that's where the problem is. Because if you're just trying to, put a Band-Aid over a paper cut, hope it heals, so you don't have to address the actual paper cut itself and realize that it hurts.
Yeah.
Then that's where the problem is. But if those 50 women are on there because, they're just as good or have better songs, or they're better than the 50 men on there. Also, I mean, it gives 45 more women airtime and all that. That's good. But if they're doing it, just to mask something that they don't want to address, then that's where I have an issue with that.
I agree to an extent with what you said. If they're just doing it, don't do it. But here is where I say, if the radio, the government, whoever does the music, if they are that adamant of making women more local and more people know them more than the men, why wouldn't they make it 51% women, 49% men? Flip the odds a little bit and just show that, hey, we really do care, so we're going to play 60% women, 40% men.
Yep.
Because think about the ratio. 60% of women, that's not a lot in today's country terms. 40% of women, 40% of men, that's a whole heck of a lot. So I mean, it's going to be outnumbered either way. But if you wanted to fight it, do 51-49.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you completely, because to flip it on its head for a change would give us a better outlook, because then we could see the people who lose their shit over it and get offended or take it personally or say that this isn't right or anything like that. Then that would draw out the true colors of these people, whether it be artists or label managements or producers or, writers, publishers, anything like that. That would show the true side of those people and how they feel about this when it's just a small change. It's literally just a small one-time drop in the ocean, but then that would bring out how people really felt about the tables being turned for once, and that would give us a better outlook on, who had the, the right mindset and the positive attitude and the need to, like, the progressive mind, and who was there for the music, making sure that the music got out to the public and to the fans, not just a person or their face or what they thought they could make money off of. It's about the music. That's why we all do this, and I think that sometimes people lose sight of that. And that's the disheartening part about it, is because we all get into this wanting to make amazing music to share with the world, and everything gets involved, and it just becomes this huge thing. And I think a lot of people lose sight of the original goals and aspirations that they had going into it.
And let's be honest, I like more of the women's stuff than the men's stuff we're putting out right now.
Mm-hmm. Just
be honest. There are some females, like a lot of the males, I'm just like, I can't listen. It's just you're gonna do that with anything. But I think there's more females that I enjoy more than males right now in this time where we're at.
I agree
with
you.
What is going on over there?
Sorry, my dog is asleep on the couch beside me, and she is snoring so loud.
Don't worry, I hear it. I hear it.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, what are you doing over there? Giant, on the phone.
But as we wind down here, I've got another appointment to get to here at 4:00. So
I was gonna say, yeah.
As we wind,
my phone's fixing to die anyways in a few seconds.
As we wind down, give one story to be the last question. Give one story where you heard, and it could have been a rumor, it could have been true, that you were like, wow, this women, people taking advantage of women, that's a real thing. Besides just hearing about it through the grapevine, you have a story where you're just like, okay, now we're in some serious business.
I will say, luckily on my end, I've never had to encounter a situation like that, like the one that you were talking about, the other female. Thank God I've not had to encounter that or be presented with that or had to deal with that. Now I've had to deal with lesser things that are still just as disrespectful and, insulting, but I can't honestly, and I'm glad that I can't really tell a story on this because that makes me feel better about myself. Because I want to avoid those people at all costs possible, no matter what. I mean, if that's what it takes to be in this business, then I just don't want to be in this business because I'm not jeopardizing who I am just for that. Like, I'm not giving myself up. I have dignity and I have morals and I have self-respect and I know who I am and I know my worth, and that will never happen. I don't care. Like, I don't care if they told me right now if that happened. If I would do that, then I would be headlining my own tour next month and be making millions. I don't care. I'll still work at my job where I make so much money a week. I'll live in my little apartment that I live in now, and I will not ever worry about it again. Because if that's what it takes to do that, I want no part of it.
Yep. Well, I appreciate you doing this for me, and I know we went off on the women thing, but I honestly do think this is a great conversation because we hit every aspect of.
It was very informative, and I think this conversation and everything that we discussed needed to be had on a forefront for everyone else to hear, because you do have two different sides of it, but we also agree on a lot of the things and feel the same way about a lot of stuff. And I think that's what a lot more people need to hear now is just that. Like, people don't know how to have a conversation about things that are uncomfortable without getting offended now. And
yeah,
that's what's wrong with America, is just because you don't agree with something or you don't like the way somebody else thinks or believes, you automatically just get offended. And that's like the new trend. It's like, oh, it's 2020, I'm offended. Let me go destroy something. Like, no, have a conversation, discuss it.
right.
Even if you still don't agree with each other at the end, that's fine. You heard both sides. You got new input. You might get new information. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just have a conversation.
Well, look, if anybody wants to disagree or wants more help in this situation, they're like this, pretty sure you can hit me up, and pretty sure you can hit Jess up as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give all your social media if you want to put all that out there.
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook. It's an official artist page, so you don't have to add me as a friend or anything. You just go hit the like button, and it's Jess Paige Official. It's obviously JessPaige Official. And then I'm on Instagram under Jess Paige Music _ That's where I post all of my music related stuff and photo shoots and everything that has to do with singles and music related stuff like that too as well. I'm also on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Amazon, iTunes, all of that. It's under Jess Paige. You'll find all my singles on there, including the latest one that I just released 3.5 months ago. And so that's on there. Please do go follow me on Spotify and like my pages and all that. And please share the songs and stream them and do all that, because every stream counts. So.
Well, look, Jess, thanks for doing it, and sorry for all the going back and forth with the scheduling, and thanks for jumping on this special episodes we've got here.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I had fun again, like always. I can't wait to do it again, and thanks for having me. It was really fun. I liked it.
Yeah, we'll get you back on and do another give them a chance here when we schedule some more coming out. Hopefully we can get you on with a couple of bigger female artists that we've got coming on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give any names, but
we'll
get you back on.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm gonna go watch college football now.
All right, I'm gonna go play my new Avengers game I got on PS4. So, and then I'm gonna do this. All right, appreciate it, Jess. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye.